You know, most people, when they drive down the road and they see a car on the shoulder of the road, they don't think about it. But for us veterans, we drive down the road, we see that car, it takes you back to Fallujah. For example, me, it takes me back to the car that hit my truck and exploded and killed my Marines. Being in the Marine Corps was everything to me. It really was one of the best things I did. I had a sense of family that maybe I never had before. For the first time in my life, I had brothers. We lived together, we ate together, we worked together, we trained together, we suffered together. When your life is in somebody else's hands, it creates a bond that a lot of people can't really comprehend. The incident that kind of ended my career in the Marines took place on October 30th, 2004. We had just finished up a little operation and we were driving down the road, and a SUV that was parked on the side of the road, when we passed by, it sped up and rammed us. And when it did, he triggered an explosion. It was a suicide bomber and it was intentional. You know, when you hold somebody in your arms and they die, and you hear the sounds and you smell the smells, unfortunately, that's stuff that will be a part of you. That's stuff that you'll take with you for the rest of your life. As a leader, my job was to protect my Marines. And for a very long time, I felt like a failure because I didn't. And I blamed myself. And I got really drunk and I got really high and I got really angry and pushed a lot of people out of my life. And I was having horrible thoughts, horrible nightmares. I didn't want to be alive. I didn't talk about it. I didn't speak about it. I wouldn't tell people I was in the Marines. So the mental scars are always there, almost like a little birdie tapping you on the shoulder to say, hey, don't forget about this. Don't forget about me. I'm still here.
Yeah, things started to change when I noticed his temper became shorter. He was much more easily aggravated. He began to isolate himself.
It was bad. It was really bad. I put my wife through a lot of stuff, mental anguish that I wouldn't wish on anybody.
I was afraid emotionally that my daughter would not be able to connect with her dad. And she loves Travis to pieces, and we had gotten to the point that I would pick her up from school and I would walk in first just to make sure he was okay, because I feared that at any moment I would come in and he'd be dead.
So while they're deployed, veterans are making, adaptations to a life and death scenario, and that makes perfect sense for that environment. But a lot of those adaptations don't really translate nicely to their lives back home and can be very disruptive to relationships, to career, or to just their enjoyment of life in a civilian world back home. So if left untreated, PTSD can result in homelessness, unemployment, family relationships ending, total isolation from social relationships, hopelessness, and ultimately a sense of being a burden or being better off dead, or even thinking about suicide or acting on those thoughts. Home-Based program is a private philanthropically funded clinic for veterans and their family members. It was founded through a partnership between Massachusetts General Hospital and the Red Sox Foundation. We treat veterans and their family regardless of their era of service or their ability to pay.
And the staff at Home-Based did such a wonderful job of making you feel at home. And I began to open up and I started sharing in the group, and I started sharing with my therapist and started talking about some of the stuff that I never told anybody. And it got to a point where I actually looked forward to sitting down with my counselor.
The way Home-Based take care of the whole family, to me, is a huge reason to support the group, because it wasn't just focused on my husband. Initially, they gave him his week to focus on himself. Then they brought the spouse in, brought me in, and then we worked together.
They gave her a voice for her to really be able to speak up and say, hey, I'm not the enemy. I'm here to help you. I'm standing beside you. So Home-Based was a lifesaver. I can now think about playing with my daughter. I can want to be around the family. I can be present at birthday parties and not be an embarrassment or not be a shame to go out there. They saved one veteran, and I'm that veteran.
It's our duty as a nation to provide for the individuals who have sacrificed on our behalf. They've done their part, and it's time for us to step up and help them and hold up our end of the bargain when they come home and they need some support.
There is no way we could have coordinated getting those medical professionals, all of that information together to help us address our situation specifically. And so the donations really help to save marriages, to save families, and to give hope. And I know he's taken such great steps to be where he is today. And I don't want to imagine life without him.
It's a humbling feeling to know people care enough to change your life positively. When you think you're alone or by yourself, you're not. And for someone to care enough, there's nothing I can ever do to repay that. I can only simply tell them thank you.